Hello, and welcome to episode 22 of The Good, The Dan, The Florida Man. We are, as always, your hosts.
I'm Ryan, I'm the good, and we've got some
of the Dan again. Because I'm the Dan. And we also have
Ben, the Florida Man. Welcome to the show.
I think that was pretty smooth.
It was
top 10.
It was decent.
Top 10 for sure.
Yeah, well,
top 10 for sure.
Sure,
Top 5 at
yeah,
least.
I mean,
top 5 at least.
Maybe
well,
top
that's
5.
still honestly not saying much. We've only done 2 correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, we are a 3-man stand-up comedian podcast. We did stand-up before the world shut down from COVID. We decided to turn our attention to the podcasting world. So here we are. We talk about story times and history and news and interviews and all these crazy fun stuff. If it's your first time listening, we hope we do enough to make you stick around. Ryan, what are you doing right now?
Put on chapstick. Why? What?
He's getting kissable for when he's talking about history.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna get my history lips are ready. My goodness. Don't.
Oh, I hated that
History
phrase.
lips.
Don't judge it.
On today's episode, we will be having a Ryan's Ridiculous History segment. I believe he's talking about a man named Robert Smalls, so stick around for that. But in the meantime, we are stand-up comedians, and the world is kind of starting to open back up a little bit. So, Ryan, you got any shows coming up?
Yeah, I'm going to be going to Pennsylvania and doing some college shows, and then I'm also going to be going to the Southeast to be doing some shows in, like, North Carolina and Tennessee, and we'll be seeing all these different things that are going up. It's going to be fun. But, yeah, so if you want to see it, my website, youthpastorryan.com, has links to all the tickets. Dan, do you have any of these show things?
Yeah, I'm opening for this guy. I forget what his name is. I think it is... Oh, that's right. Ben Brainard.
It's a very forgettable name.
On the 17th of Wise Guys. But in the meantime, on the 25th of this month, I am going to be performing at WB's in Ogden, Utah. So if you're wanting to come to that, 6 o'clock at WB's. Check out online. They have tickets there too. Ben?
Yeah, I have some shows coming up. August 19th, I'll be in Gainesville, Florida at Vecinos. Advanced tickets are sold out, but you can still buy tickets at the door. August 21st, I'll be in Boca Raton, Florida at the Boca Black Box. The 22nd, I'll be in Wesley Chapel, Florida at Side Splitters at the Grove. September 17th, I'll be in Jordan Landing, Utah at Wise Guys. I'll be following Dan there. September 18th, I'll be in Provo, Utah, recording a dry bar special. October 4th, I'll be in Liberty Township, Ohio, the 5th in Dayton, Ohio, the 6th in Toledo, Ohio, and the 7th in Columbus, Ohio, all at the Funny Bones there. And then in later October, the 17th, Raleigh, North Carolina at the Raleigh Improv. The 18th, I'll be in Greenville, South Carolina at the Comedy Zone. The 19th, I'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina again at Comedy Zone. And the 20th, I'll be in Greensboro, North Carolina at the Comedy Zone. And I'm already tired.
Yeah.
You're going to be in so many comedy zones. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So many zones.
Bones and zones. Be at the Funny Bones and the Comedy Zones.
I hate that phrasing.
All up in the Bone Zone.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the podcast has a show coming up too.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. August 28th will be in Morris, Minnesota at the University of Minnesota Morris. The show is free and open to the community, so if you're in the area, come on out. If you're not, what are you doing, man? Come on.
Come to the area. Yeah.
But that's all the shows. Ryan, anything happened to you this week?
Not really. Since we've last performed, I got my car back. I'd left it at my buddy Daniel's house for too long, and that was unfortunate. And then I just didn't have, not this Dan.
I was going to say, I don't own a house. Oh.
Right, I don't. I wish we did. But yeah, no, just kind of being back in my car, it's just, there's something about just, freedom. Like, you've got this beautiful feel, and it feels good. That's pretty much.
Yeah, sure, man.
That's pretty much
That's what William Wallace was actually fighting for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
A Fiat 500.
Hey, I drive a Hyundai Genesis Coupe, even though I seem like the type of guy to drive a Fiat 500. Dan, what about you?
At least you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm acutely aware. Dan, what about you? What you got?
I got a new nephew this weekend.
You just picked one up?
Yeah, I was
just
about to
picked
say,
one up
Jay,
off the
where'd
side
you
of the
find
road.
him?
Found him in a Cabbage Patch.
Right.
It has a
He's a
very
Cabbage
big
Patch
face.
Kid?
Actually,
yeah.
I think you found him in your sister. Like, that's... I'm not wrong. I'm not.
Ryan, I'm gonna mute you.
That seems really fair.
Horrifying. Thanks for that, Ryan. I mean, it's biology, though, right? Yeah,
Well,
there we
that's
go.
gonna be a clip.
Yes, but new nephew came out. It's fantastic. He's doing great. I also went to my first ever burlesque show. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. I went to Prohibition. It was a speakeasy, and they had a burlesque
Wow.
show, and they had boylesque, and this guy was doing fantastic until he pulled his pants down and he had Hanes underwear on. Please don't ever do a burlesque show in Hanes underwear, because ew.
What?
It's
What?
gross.
Why not?
Because Hanes underwear? No. No.
Is this a gay thing?
No, this is not a gay thing.
I
At
don't
what
know.
point are you looking
I
at
don't know
Hanes
how it
underwear
even
and you're
could
like,
be.
this is sexy. I feel sexy in Hanes underwear.
Have you seen the commercials?
No.
I'm not-
No, I'm
Hanes
asking
has
because I haven't
commercials?
either. I didn't know.
I
No,
straight
I
up
don't,
am very.
I don't want to know what a Hanes commercial looks like.
What is the official underwear of burlesque?
I don't know, just something a little like
Lingerie.
more like intriguing. And to be fair, he did pull down the Hanes and had like sexier underwear. So it was like, oh, okay, we
So it
understand
was a
why.
misdirect.
But it was, yeah, but it was weird as no. I was like, no, this is this is taken. I was eating.
All
I
right,
like put my
yeah.
knife and fork down. I was like, I can't.
If
do
you're
this.
if you're listening to the podcast now and you're interested in Dan, don't ever wear Hanes underwear. It's just not gonna go well.
Apparently, yeah.
I have a story about that, but also, yeah, it was just, yeah. Maybe
Oh,
that's
man.
why. There's some associated trauma with Hanes. But
I've never
anyway.
wanted to skip a ridiculous history just so that I get a Dan Haynes story, but here we are.
Anyway, that was my life. Ben, has anything happened to you this week?
Well, I've still just been setting up the house here in
It's looking
LA.
fantastic.
Thanks. You're seeing one wall. I have a calendar. It's great. Yeah. I started hanging some like acoustic paneling, so I'm hoping it sounds a little better this week than it did last week. But I started hanging some acoustic paneling just using some like sticky pads, and I am slowly. Not slowly. I'm very quickly realizing that foam pads don't stick too good to sticky pads.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have to go. I already know what I'm going to be doing to fix it, but I'm like looking. There's like 5 pads just on the ground. There's still most of them are on the wall, but like I know what I have to do to fix it.
You sound
It's
incredible,
just-
Ben. You sound incredible.
I'm doing stuff, Dan. I'm. Thanks.
It does.
Ugh.
It sounds good.
Well,
as
thank
far as
you.
I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
Well, that was our weeks.
That
So
was-
let's jump into the meat and potatoes of this episode.
Yay!
With Ryan's ridiculous history.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Are you guys ready for some blood and I'm kidding, but you guys didn't like that. So we're doing a happy, wholesome story that involves one of the greatest atrocities of mankind's history. So, yay! We're gonna be talking about a
Yeah,
guy.
man. What is this? The boy in the striped pajamas?
No, not that atrocity. We've got a different one. So we're talking about a guy named Robert Smalls, who is just so cool. He was just like,
That was my nickname in college, actually.
Robert Smalls.
Smalls, but yeah.
Oh, I guess. Well, there we
I never
go.
introduced myself to the fraternity guys when I accidentally joined the frat, so they just started calling me Smalls because I was the smallest one out there.
Oh,
Hey,
how creative.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I didn't, they were, look, man, they were taking business classes at an engineering school, so
yeah, there's not a lot going on there. I'll tell you a lot.
it's like they were a Ryan or something. I don't know.
Hey! Yeah.
Why did you just concede, Ryan?
Because it's easier than explaining like #1 college in the Midwest, but that just sounds like I'm sad about it, and so it's just easier to just let Ben have this one than just like. And I've been like, we had a very successful business program. It was just the defeat
with which you said it. You were just yeah.
No, all I know is that when you introduced the college the first time, you said it was the #1 engineering college in the entire Midwest. And then I asked what you did there, and you were like, Homeland Security or something?
No, it was #1 just college in the Midwest. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not
all
engineering.
Right, sure, man.
Yeah. So, let's talk about a guy that's cooler than me.
Yay!
Low bars. There's so essentially Robert Smalls was born in let's see. Oh gosh, this dude's so cool. He's got so much parts of his life. He was born April 5th, 1839. He's gonna eventually pass away February 23rd, 1915. So he is going to see
I honestly thought you weren't gonna say the end date. You were just gonna be like, yeah, he's going to eventually pass away, and I was gonna be like, yep.
Gotta keep it
all
sneaky.
Things do.
As will all of us.
As will all of us.
The sweet scent of death.
So when he was born into slavery, which he was born to a slave named Henry McKee. Let's see.
That was the atrocity. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Slavery is the atrocity. Yeah.
You're right.
And so,
okay. Yeah.
But he's got about 26 years until like the war is going to be coming to an end, or about 21 until it's going to be really kicking off. And what had happened is the Confederates during the time they realized that, hey, we've got all these people. I bet we could use them to fight in the war. And so the war kicks off. And the North is starting to fight back against them, and then
I remember reading about that. Like, just a lot of the South were like, no, they can't fight, and then some people in the South were like, what if we make them fight? Yeah. And then the North was like, so you're just gonna give them guns?
That's
okay. Yeah, absolutely.
No, yeah.
No, take it away. Take it away. Yeah, we'll stand over here.
No. Yeah, we'll be with the guns.
We'll be on this side of the train tracks that you guys don't have yet. Because
it's literally the fact that the South was so cartoonishly racist that they did not believe that people would like that slaves had it in them to like revolt, and it's like, well, that's the dumbest thing that you're ever gonna find out.
And then Nat Turner just like woke up from a deep sleep, like, what about a rebellion?
Yeah.
They're giving us what?
All the weapons we could imagine.
So, by the way, before like things really kicked off in the war, at age 17, Smalls married Hannah Jones, an enslaved hotel maid in Charleston on December 24th, 1856. She already had 2 kids, 2 daughters, and she was 5 years his senior. And then they had their own daughter, Elizabeth Lydia Smalls, who was born February 1858. And 3 years later, they had a son. Unfortunately, his son later passed away at 2.
Infant mortality strikes again.
Yep, yeah. He aimed to try to make enough money to pay for their freedom, but it was like...
that's not how that worked.
But essentially like through tips and things like that, essentially.
Yeah.
But it took him like a year to save up $100, and it was going to take 800. So he thought it was going to take him decades to reach 800. And so he was like, well, I have a better strategy. And so the Civil War begins, and the South actually has some pretty cool ships. They've got steamships, and on the steamship, specifically the CSS Planter, they have a crew of like 3 white dudes and like the rest enslaved people, which are not white dudes.
Sure. And so that was just a boat of like 100 slaves and like just 3 white dudes?
Not quite that much, but
How big is this boat?
This boat is a lightly armored Confederate military transport. It's not giving me total numbers, but I'd have to guess probably around like 30. Probably would be.
Okay, so still numbers heavily swaying to one side.
Absolutely, yeah. But now, granted, normally they would also put on white soldiers, and that would heavily outweigh in different directions.
Okay.
Since this was a military transport, yeah, and that's where things get a little dicey. Also, because they used to keep all of this fighting was mostly like inland. Any like forts and things like that would be able to bust these boats instantly. So if they were to be taken over.
Yeah.
Now, they're chilling on this boat, and Robert Smalls is like, well, I need to grab my family, and I need to get the heck out of here. And so he starts like confiding in his other slaves. Yeah, well, so they got to get...
Robert, he's like, I have a plan. And they're like, what is it? And Robert's like, let's get our loved ones and leave. And they're like, great. Yeah, no, great idea, Robert. That's really... Okay, go back to sleep, buddy. You're really tired.
You're like super sleepy, my guy. Yeah, so he... Like not only this, so they've got... Let's see. Range in age from teens to middle age. Essentially, like, yeah, they had a whole bunch of people. There were 6 other enslaved black men who ranged from like as part of the rest of the crew. So it's about 10. It's about a crew of 10, and very frequently they'd bring on other people. But here's the thing: he was tasked as the pilot of the boat, so he was the one steering at all times, and he was very good at it. But the thing is, they'd never promote him because he was black. And so they were just like,
surprise.
The Confederate South being racist? Oh my god! What in the
you're trying to tell me that a black man was good at a job and wasn't paid what he was worth in the South in 1858?
Yeah, actually, so this
I don't know. See, I took history in school, but they never taught us any of that.
Yeah. Funny how that works.
Funny.
Interesting.
Super weird. He realized that also during this time, like planning the escape, like they had to get rid of the white guys. They had to then sail through a whole bunch of like armed forts and show signals to be like, it's fine, everything's fine. And then they had to pull up alongside a Union boat while they're flying a Confederate flag, hope that they don't shoot them, and then make friends with them, and then be done. While they've got infants on board and things that can cry, and like a whole, which would include me, by the way. I'd be crying the whole time. I would be afraid nonstop.
Okay. All right. Imagine you guys are like a couple of slaves on the boat, and I'm Robert. I'd run up to you as like, guys, I have a plan. Right. Okay. So
I'm
get your
already
loved
crying.
Ones.
Carry on.
So get your loved ones. We're gonna get off this boat, right? Okay. Hear me out. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the white people. We're gonna move them somewhere else.
Good.
Then,
that's the whole.
yes.
I'm happy with that plan.
Right.
Day, yes,
but there's more, because now we're here. We gotta get past all the forts without any of the white people on the boat. But it's totally fine, because we're gonna trick them somehow. We'll figure it out. And then we're gonna just ask a Union boat to not shoot us. Are you guys in? Are you guys on this?
Yeah, mainly because it's white people from the South, and we all know that they're not very smart. So.
They actually thought at the time too. They thought that like the South could definitely have pulled this one off, like because it was so early in the war that they could have won. So they were like, "Look, it's either we're gonna be slaves forever, or we're gonna do this now." And they were like,
"What
now?"
Yeah, if that was like the case, honestly, after like years and years, I too would have just been like, "I'm down for anything. I'm down to try anything." Like, what more could you do to me at that point? Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
It would just be wild enough to be like, it's
There's also just like. There's also a big thing, and I don't know how big it was, but like a lot of times when there were like, small slave rebellions or like people escaping or whatever, a lot of the slaves, I don't say a lot, I don't know any particular numbers, but I know there were multiple occurrences where slaves wouldn't leave the plantation that they were currently on for whatever reason, because they thought if you left now, things would get worse. Like, what if someone else catches me and I get sent to a different person? That person is worse.
Well,
so there was
very
just
real.
Like a lot of fear, and and it was a very real fear. So like, even if like I came to you, like if we were slaves on a boat and Robert Smalls came up to you with this plan, there would still be like a good amount of people on the boat going, no.
Yeah.
Well, and the reason why is because they'd be sold off to worse plantation owners.
Which
that
is crazy.
Was the main.
That's like the most intimidating part of it all, is just being like, oh wow, I have like, and you think you have it good, quote unquote good. You're like, oh, this is it's just a mess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'd be the type of person that would just be like, no, I'm done with this. Kill me. You know what I mean? Like, I'll risk it all to make sure that like I get what I need to get, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Absolutely. I mean, those people absolutely existed, and we hear stories about them.
Yeah. By the way,
well, we
Turner,
don't hear stories about
Robert
them. We've only just started
stories. We hear stories about some of them. Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner.
Only just recently, though, right? Only just recently.
Not for like Harriet Tubman things. Like most of the time for like a while of like very successful things, but it's normally you don't normally only hear about the very because the other ones are sad. It's very sad. Yeah. It gets. By the way, just a crazy thing. So they'd been planning this for a sec, and just a few weeks earlier, a group of 15 slaves in Charleston had surprised the city by seizing a barge from the waterfront and rowing it to the Union fleet, which was super cool. Fun fact: it was the barge belonged to General Ripley, the same commander who used the Planter as his dispatch boat. And when they found out, the Confederates were furious, but, and I quote the Smithsonian, they were also embarrassed at being outsmarted by slaves. Nonetheless, they failed to take any extra precaution in securing other vessels.
Oh, no. Oh, come on.
Like I said, those whites in the South, those whiteys.
Hey, man, you hear about that group of slaves that stole a boat and drove it over to the Union side? Yeah, man, I heard about that. What are we gonna do about it? I've been thinking about this, and I think we should do nothing. Does that sound good? Absolutely, it does. Absolutely, it
literally,
does.
we're changing absolutely nothing. What's funny is that like they were like, but they're not going to steal a Confederate boat, right? They're not going to do that. And then they straight up did. They just did, and it's pretty crazy. So on May 12th, 1862, the Planter traveled 10 miles southwest of Charleston to a stop at Coles Island, a Confederate post on the Stono River that was being dismantled. The ship picked up 4 large guns to transport, so it's acquiring more guns that they're going to be turning over into the to the Union.
Yes.
So on the night of May 12th, the Planter was docked at a wharf, and General Ripley is
believe it or not, he was still there.
He was.
I'm so sorry.
You're becoming me. Perfect.
Okay, I need to stop now.
Yep, I knew that would do it. By the way, the wharf is below his headquarters. So this boat is just going to cartoonishly sneak out like from underneath the general in a very real way.
They drove away right under my nose. Where were they? Right under
my nose.
I sleep on my stomach, and they were just kind of like.
Yeah. It's 3 white officers disembarked and spend the night ashore with their families, because they understand that spending time with their families is a good thing. Almost like human beings could recognize humanity or something. Weird that they didn't.
But in the same vein, they were like, those slaves won't steal our boat.
Exactly. Yeah, well, they wouldn't want to escape with their families. Before the officers departed,
they come back, their boat's gone. Oh, shoot. I think they stole our boat.
Yeah. By the way, before the officers departed, Smalls asked Captain Relia if the crew's families could visit, which was occasionally allowed, and he approved on the condition that they depart before curfew. When the families arrived, the men revealed the plan to them, which had to be a crazy moment to be like, all right, on board. We're moving. We're going.
Yo, imagine the captain's like, yes, they can visit, but they have to leave before curfew. And Robert's like, oh yeah, no, everyone's gonna leave before curfew.
Yeah. Yeah, literally.
Don't worry about that, Cap. I got that. Nobody's gonna be here past curfew
at all. In fact, you know what? This boat also not gonna be here past curfew. Yeah. Apparently, so they let them know what was happening. At some point, 3 members of the crew pretended to escort the family back, but circled around. And they hid aboard another steamer, apparently. And then they bring as many people as they can on board. They're planning the escape with between Smalls and 7 of his 8 slave crewmen made their previously planned escape to the Union blockade. Which also, who was left behind? Who's
the one dentist that disagreed?
Yeah, man, I don't know.
7 of 8 dentists recommend leaving now.
Yeah. So they took their people off the boat. They took some of the family members off the boat. They sailed back to the southernmost part of the wharf and picked up the people again so they could have their families with them. So essentially they wouldn't hear people crying or like kids and things like that in case that started happening. Smalls then guided the ship past 5 Confederate harbor ports without incident because he gave the correct signals at checkpoints.
Yeah.
To let them know that like things are good. He did it 5 times. He had it all memorized.
I like to imagine the correct like signals were just like thumbs up. We're doing good.
You doing good?
Okay,
We're good.
2, 3. This last one's tricky. For number 5.
YMCA.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
It's just really white things. Oakley dokley.
oh my gosh.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
Yeah. Sweet Carol. Like just.
Bum bum bum. Howdy doodah, neighbor. I see you. All right. God,
It was the summer of 69. 1869 to be specific.
By the way, the Planter had been commanded by Captain Charles Seiji Relier, or Relier, and Smalls copied Relier's manners and straw hat on the deck, so he just dressed like him to pretend to be him, and for some reason, it worked out. Not the fact that this was a white dude that he was how good at impersonating do you have to be as a black guy to be able to impersonate a white man?
I think Ben illustrated it perfectly. You just have to know a couple of the phrases. Howdy doodly, neighbor. Hey there. Hey there, son.
Hey there, scout. Hey, champ. I just like to imagine there's like guys like seeing him on the deck. A black guy wearing the straw hat, doing the mannerisms of the white man, and they're just like, oh, look at that Captain Relier doing blackface again. That scoundrel. Oh, he's getting real good at that paint. You know,
it's either that or it just proves that improv does make you whiter. Like that too. I think like that's just
they're seeing him. They're seeing him come. They're like, now wait just a darn tootin' second. Is that Robert Downey Jr.?
Oh my gosh! Like but yeah, so they were approaching, and they made it through. Let's see, he sailed past Fort Sumter, which the Union never took during the entire war, at 4:30 a.m. So we are getting a little dicier as it becomes more nighttime. They're starting to
becoming more daytime, Ryan.
All right, it's becoming more daytime. My bad. My brain is slow.
So is this boat, apparently.
By the way, one of the men aboard said when he drew near the fort, because he knew that was like the last, and this fort could sink them in a heartbeat. It would have taken nothing. Because the boat itself is not particularly heavily defended. Robert Smalls felt his knees give way, and the women and children began crying and praying again. As they approached the fort, several men urged Smalls to give it a wide berth. Smalls refused because he knew it would seem suspicious. So he steered right through the normal path, right next to Fort Sumter, which is literally, one of the opening battles of the Civil War is Fort Sumter, where the Union fails to take it, and just this horrific.
I guess what the Union should have done was just pretended everything was Oakley dokley, neighbor. Come on in,
everybody come through.
The fort didn't immediately also respond to their signal, and there was a long pause, and then the fort responded that everything was all good. And Smalls sailed his ship out of the harbor.
Good to go, friendo. See you later, alligator.
See you, bud.
So they took him out of. By the way, these waters. So the Planter was also a mining ship. Like these waters are mined as well, just to add a little more, insult to injury. So I raised. And the alarm was only raised when the ship was beyond gun range. Rather than turn east towards Morris Island, Smalls headed straight out to the Union Navy fleet, which was blockading this inlet. And so replacing the rebel flags with a white bed sheet, which was brought by his wife. The Planter was seen on the USS Onward. Yeah.
I like to imagine that he just completely forgot about that part of the plan, and he's like now is just riding out, and he's like, oh God, oh no, they don't know my signals. I can't just. Oh, what are we gonna do? And then his wife was like, babe,
dude, chill.
Babe, that's why I'm here.
I brought a bed sheet.
Honey, sweetie.
I actually do like to believe that's the case, right? They're like, do we have anything? And she's like, I always carry the bed sheets with me.
And then Robert Smalls was like, they're gonna not write about you in the book, though. I'm just letting you. It's gonna be about this is my thing.
This is mostly a my thing that happened. Well, the crazy thing is, so the ship that's on was the USS Onward, which is kind of beautiful that they made it onward out of the South, and they couldn't really see it was a white flag, but as they were coming out, because it was so early in the morning, sunrise crested, and that's when they saw the white flag.
Yeah.
That it was no longer the.
Dude, that is Hollywood magic right there. What the heck?
It really is.
Okay, I just want to clarify it. Who owned the boat that he was on?
Ripley, like General Ripley of the Confederate.
Okay, and then Ripley had a different boat. Yeah. Also?
There was a barge that got stolen. Yeah.
The barge.
Okay.
There was a lot underneath him. Yeah.
Okay, so Ripley has had 2 boats.
0 for 2. Within
Stolen
weeks of
by-
each other.
You know, Ripley's, believe it or
Okay.
not, they did have the boat stolen. I tried to do something. It wasn't good.
I was waiting for, I was like, oh, there's got to be a good punchline here. And there wasn't. It was just like,
wasn't
oh, he
anything.
just started the sentence. Okay, great.
I've never felt more
What
like a
happened
white
to
dad.
Ripley?
Oh my gosh.
I'm curious.
Oh, we will find out at some point. But as the steamer came near the USS Onward, one of the men stepped forward, took his hat off, shouting, "Good morning, sir. I brought you some old United States guns." He was so stoked.
Oh,
By the way,
yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
comedy. That's
Yes.
real. He had his 10,000 hours of improv right there. He knew what to say.
I brought you some old United States guns.
John Frederick Nichols was the Onward's captain. He stepped aboard the planter and asked, and Smalls asked for a United States flag to display because he knew that, like.
Yes.
In fact, so here's what gets crazier about that is like they took a whole bunch of ammunition, a whole bunch of guns. It was the largest single take from from this type of like surreptitious act throughout the entire war. Robert Smalls is going to go on and not only continue to live a full life until 1915, which is, by the way, he went from being born before the Civil War to dying during World War I, to give you a perspective of history times. What also puts into perspective, he was a member of South Carolina's 7th District as he served as the U.S. House of Representatives. He became a politician.
Yeah.
In South Carolina?
In South Carolina, and he won. Because that's
What year?
1884 to 1887. Yeah. In fact, that's also, he was also a member of the 5th District from 1882 to 1883. He was a member of South Carolina.
Does this guy not have a Hollywood movie?
Right. Well, he also served in the Senate from November 22nd, 1870 to 1875. Again, South Carolina. He just served consistently. And that was after. He also served in the Civil War afterwards in the Union. By the way, the U.S. government awarded them, because he was a national hero for this, they awarded him the prize money that was due to him for the ship, which technically they didn't have to, but they did the right thing, which thank God they did, which is pretty cool. The prize money came into about $38,000 in 2020, which at the time was $1,500, which is still a lot of money for stealing a ship. And so, very cool.
So,
wow, that's wild.
Yeah,
That is insane.
it's
Literally?
so cool.
It's crazy that you don't hear stories like this, because this is literally like, you want to talk about overcoming? Maybe that's a story of overcoming. Like, literally, like, planning out an entire, like, ship heist. That's better than any Ocean's 12 movie I've ever heard of. Do you know what
Right?
I
Quite
mean?
literally Oceans.
this is
a real
Ocean
one.
7.
Yeah. But it's just an amazing, like, human being. He died at 75 years old and was buried in his family's plot in Tabernacle Baptist Church in downtown Beaufort, South Carolina. Monument to Smalls in the church described the statement he made to South Carolina's legislature in 1895. "My race needs no special defense, for the past history of them in this country proves them to be equal of any people anywhere. All they need is an equal chance in the battle of life." And that's just so awesome. That's so cool.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Dude, that dude's just like the coolest human being to ever freaking. He's so cool. Also, let's figure out
I
what
like
happened.
to imagine he's just super nonchalant about it the whole time. Just like, he's walking on the boat, and then one of his buddies is like, hey, Smalls, what you doing today? And he's like, just gonna steal a boat today. And then just kept on walking like it was just a normal thing. And he's like, I'm sorry, what was that? What?
We're going to pick up all your families and friends, so make it happen.
He's like, wait, can I come? Sure. Yeah, why not? Okay. What about my wife? Yeah, why not? More the merrier. Come on, everyone
Everyone
get
hop on the boat.
Yeah, we're just gonna steal the boat.
Apparently, by the way,
and the guns.
just some stuff for the guy that would definitely play the villain in the movie, which would be Roswell Sabine Ripley, who, by the way, was born in the North but fought for the South, which is that's a whole nother thing that's just confusing. Like, what were you doing, man? You were born on the right side of it. Like, you could have figured it out, Chief, but you didn't. He directed the bombardment of Fort Sumter. He was like part of the coastal defenses. Yeah, he was Department of South Carolina and its coastal defenses from December 1861 until May of 1862. Sounds like you lose a couple ships and you lose that position.
Yeah. I don't know why they would put him on a coastal defense team when he hasn't been able to defend any part of the coast.
Yeah, no, at all. He was then transferred to like the Army of Northern Virginia. Battle of Gaines Mill, Malvern Hill, Peninsula Campaign. He became sick. Was involved in the defense of Fredericksburg. Criticized for his performance at Antietam. Returned to South Carolina and took charge of the 1st Military District. His men constructed a series of improved defensive in Charleston. Let's see. He did repel a Union attack on April 7th. Continued to command fortifications till they were evacuated in mid-February 1865. And then after the war, he went to England for over 20 years. He fled to England. His wife and his daughter left him to return home to Charleston. In the late 1880s, he returned to the United States and settled in New York City, where he died of a massive stroke. He was buried in Magnolia Cemetery. Yeah, so it just did not work out for him at all.
What if he didn't flee to England? He was just asleep on a boat and woke up, and there was just a black man driving his boat away, and he was like, again! Freaking again!
Every time.
I should stop owning boats.
I am the worst at owning boats. Wow. Yeah. Also, by the way, just a cool thing also about Smalls is during his time he was given like in charge of an ironclad, the USS Keokuk, which was a like these ironclad boats in the Civil War they were like OG like top heavy submarines. They wouldn't submerge, but they were just like these. They were so defensible and they were so cool. And yeah, he was made the pilot of one. So literally the top technology at the time, he was given the pilot of it, which is just cool.
They were like, "Hey, do you want a bigger boat?"
Yeah.
And he was like, sure.
Also,
yeah, why not?
Yep.
Yes. Eventually because that boat was, they tried to take Fort Sumter again, and unfortunately because they never took Fort Sumter, we know that ended up in a loss. But the Keokuk took, just to give you an idea of how like tough these boats were, the Keokuk took 96 hits in that battle. 96. That's ridiculous. It did eventually sink, but like the people got off and things like that because that's how defensible these boats were. Just crazy. It's craziness.
He's just yelling from like the cockpit or whatever they call it. They're just like, they get hit by the first one. He's like, "Oh no, not a hit on the invincible bow. Oh no, another one. Oh no, make it stop."
Yeah. That is, yeah. It should, I'm just,
I would
I was
be
just reading.
very intrigued to hear what it is that you just got intrigued by. But you know, if we have to wait, it's totally fine.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Don't worry
Well,
about it.
I thought that he was part of it, but he wasn't. I guess not quite yet. But it was. I just had forgotten. So Andrew Johnson, who was the president after Lincoln, I did not know he vetoed. It was the radical Republicans who controlled Congress overrode President Andrew Johnson's vetoes and passed the Civil Rights Act. I thought that it was passed outright. I didn't know that
Andrew Johnson was a terrible person.
Yeah.
Through and through.
I've been reading about more terrible presidents and things like that recently, and it's been so fascinating. It's been a good read.
Hey, it's most of them.
All of the American presidents.
No, there have been some good ones. There have, but there are a lot that are just like you didn't know they were bad for different reasons, or like what was it? It was Harding, for instance, the most corrupt guy, super pro like equality. Super corrupt, like just these horrible like dichotomies where it's like, son of a gun, could you just lean
just like a normal person in this leadership role, or is it
Yeah.
just, or do we
Washington.
just only have narcissists as
Well, there was
president?
George Washington, who literally was like, "Don't elect me." Okay, you did it. Well, I don't want to do it more than twice.
Yeah.
You can't make me. I won't. He was also super afraid of being buried alive, so he
Yes, he
instructed
was.
men. Yeah, he after I die, leave my body out in the open for 3 days just to make sure I'm not just sleeping. And
Wow.
they did it. They just left him
did
out there,
that.
and he didn't wake up again. They're like, oh, thank God, not Jesus.
Yeah, that's just
Funny.
well, and how about like John Quincy Adams that fully was like, okay, it's time to do an expedition for mole people. We know that the Earth is hollow. Let's do it. And then that was the thing. And then thankfully the new president got sworn in, which unfortunately I'm pretty sure might have been Andrew Jackson. So you can you imagine? Yeah, that
Can
was.
you imagine being such a terrible person that Florida names an entire city after you?
Icky.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait for. There's a lot of cities I can't wait to name.
I can't wait
get
for
named in Florida.
Brainard, Ben Brainard City. That will be fun.
You got him.
You're gonna get a
rare-
nice city
with the
in
rare
like
Dan
Oregon.
burn.
It's gonna be
See a
Oregon
Dan
town.
burn.
There's already a Brainard, Minnesota, right?
Ooh,
Really?
Can we go
Yeah,
there?
it's not spelled the same, but
Oh,
it's pretty far away from Minneapolis.
I thought you were gonna say me. I
Ben,
was like,
we're gonna get you. And if anyone's gonna get their own city, it's going to be Ben Brainard. You're going to form some sort of something, right?
Okay.
Just waiting
Why
for
not,
it. We're
right?
just waiting for it. Give it 20 years. We're gonna
yeah.
see. We're gonna see where Brainard City
Well, should we move on to some of them audience submissions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Ryan, want to kick us off?
Absolutely. We got a question from Margot S. Let me see. I have been debating writing for a while now and decided to finally do it. Had to say some brave little toaster bit had me in stitches. I'm glad you liked it. It's a question for Ryan. I'm taking my best friend of 15 years to Disneyland for the first time. I'm so excited about it. It's around her birthday, and I wanted to make it as magical as possible. I went when I was 8, and to date me, the newest ride was Indiana Jones. My question is, what can I say or do to help make the trip unforgettable? With some cool secret phrases you know from being a cast member who doesn't speak for the brand of the company. Thank you. That can help make her trip and her birthday that much more memorable. Until we're going in October and we already pitched. Oogie Boogie Bash tickets are so much fun. I love you so much.
I don't know. What
I love you. So keep being pure, gay, and chaotic, Margot. I don't know how to tell you, but I'm shockingly straight. But that doesn't
That's
mean
one
that I
way
don't
you can
come
say it.
across as very, very gay. So I understand it.
She told you to keep being pure, gay, and chaotic.
I mean,
I think she was addressing each of us individually.
Okay.
He's pure,
Okay. I wanted to make
you're
sure. But
gay,
I was like,
and
Is she saying this to Ryan?
no. That could all have been my life.
It very much could have been all you, but I think that's what she was going for.
Oh my gosh, that's very funny. Oogie Boogie Bash tickets are fantastic because they let you. I think they let you dress up. You might want to check out on that, and that's very fun. Make sure you're just having a blast. Honestly, don't put too much pressure on it to have to do everything. That's the most important thing that I can tell you. Have fun, eat good food, chill. Just know that you're having a good time. Get birthday stickers or like birthday things. People say happy birthday to them the whole time, and that's just very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, yeah, just be attentive to what they want to do.
What's your favorite secret phrase that you have like people use to get like a reaction from a cast member?
There was no really like secret phrases, to be completely honest. Like everyone thinks that.
Have a magical day actually means I hate you and I hope you have an awful day.
Not always. I would say it unironically, but that's because I am a dork that just loved it. I was like, I love things. I actually really did.
Ryan's
Guests
like, have
was
a magical day. And they're like, Spider-Man would never say that.
Look, guests were not the problem. Okay, like guests for the most part were not the problem. So like I was just like, yeah, no.
Disney World must be a much different place then.
It is.
Like it's all just
is.
college kids and it's all just like rich people on vacation and they think they just own the place and so they're just awful people and so the Disney World cast members, you didn't hear it from me, but they've basically developed like whenever a guest is just awful to them, they finish the interaction by going, "Have a magical day."
And you have a magical day.
They do,
That's
they do
customer
probably.
service, baby. We always use that when I worked at a call center for an MLM. They told us to follow Disney's customer service. Like no matter how much you get shouted at, just use tons of passive aggressive terms and be overly friendly, and that's how you can get it out. And so I'd be like, "You just sound absolutely wonderful. You sound like a great person, man. Oh my gosh, you sound so happy. What a happy day you must be having."
Man.
Crazy. Anyway, Lily T says, do any of you have weird little superpowers? Mine is that every time I visit a place in a drought, it rains without fail. Dan should know that Utah's in a drought, but when I was there, it rained every day. Sorry about the flash floods in southern Utah. My bad. P.S. I love your podcast. It never fails to cheer me up. I mean, that's the kind of weird twist on it all, is there was definitely flash floods. Weird powers.
Weird superpowers.
I can do this with my thumb. It like bends weirdly.
I don't really. I can do this. And like pop.
It's not gonna make the noise on your microphone. Your microphone's not gonna.
Just know that there's a
I
pop
don't know if
thing.
you guys can hear the tweet.
Wow.
Yeah. Ben has definitely accidentally convinced me that there have been actual birds around, and I was like, it's so late at night, and then I was like, it's Ben.
Birds aren't real. It's all Ben.
Oh. It's good.
Wow.
That's good.
Those puckered lips. Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay, we don't need to comment on it. We just,
Yes,
just
we
the
love
noise. That's you just
it.
hear the cricket. The cricket.
Sexy. Wow. Cricket
I make
noises.
one joke that we know where. We know Dan gets a sister, but Dan's allowed to make a puckered Ben jokes. Like puckered Ben. Like, I don't know, man. Feels sus.
I'm very jealous. To be real, I'm very jealous. I have white lips.
Oh.
Very thin lips. Paper thin.
Paper thin lip.
Do you have any superpowers, Ryan?
I got a photo. Like,
Little super.
I mean,
Photographic memory.
yeah, that's weird. That's
That's a cool one.
I guess I'm smart.
No, it's not even smart. That's just like, I see things again. Yay!
I'm really smart. I went to the #1 college in the Midwest.
Nah, I knew it was coming. Dang it! I got it coming.
The whole Midwest too.
The whole Midwest. We were in the year that I graduated. We were ranked that. Yay! Anyway, moving on.
This is from Mariad B, that's a guess at how you pronounce your name. Ben, you've talked openly about taking medication for ADHD. I also take medication for ADHD and get a lot of negative feedback. Have you come across that? And if so, how do you deal with people saying that you're cheating the system? Yeah, I
people
get
say that?
negative feedback. So people that don't have ADHD or only think that like Adderall is used for like kids to study in college.
Oh.
Basically, people that are uneducated think the wrong thing. Surprise! And yeah, it happens all the time. If I tell somebody that I take medicine for ADHD, then they're just like, oh, like Adderall? I'm like, well, I used to Adderall, now it's Vyvanse. They're like, is that the same thing? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, so you're just like, whatever, you're just not. A lot of people don't even believe ADHD is real to start off with. And then
Really?
on top, yeah, people are like, oh, it's just you're not disciplined. That's not a real thing. You just, it's real dumb. So there's a lot of negative feedback on it. And, I don't give them the time of day.
Good.
I make them feel as little as possible, and then I just leave the conversation.
Well, it's because you're ADHD. You just don't even consider them. Your mind's just like, okay, move on to the next thing. Who cares what those people are saying? Go away.
I literally can't focus long enough for this to happen. No, like that's...
I can't focus on the hate. I just have to keep moving.
So if people ask me like questions along the lines of like, so you like cheat the system? So like, oh, so you just cheat in the system? And then I'll say something like, how do you have access to the entirety of human knowledge and existence on your phone at any given moment and you still don't know things?
Okay, Jehovah's Witnesses. Jeez. Like, no, like, when is a cancer person, like, someone with a cancer person, a person with cancer gone to, like, chemo, they're like, they're cheating the system! These medications are doing everything wrong! Like, it is it's a silly argument to say that medications are cheating a system that you are supposed... I don't know. So weird. So silly.
There's just, like, a lot of things that you can say to people. So, first of all, I'd like to say that, like, genuinely... If people are giving you like negative feedback or saying anything bad about you taking medicine for ADHD, just say, okay, and then leave, because then you're taking all of the power from this person and making them feel very small. You're like, is because now you've just shown them that anything they think or do or just their existence isn't even worth time for you to acknowledge. And you've just walked away. And it's just the nicest way to let somebody know that they don't matter. It's wonderful.
It is the perfect condition to have to make sure that people feel like they don't matter too, though.
Because you will actually just forget they exist. I like to fight back.
What?
While at the same time not showing that I even care. Okay, I give it the same response of the okay, but I don't say okay. I say things like, I mean, you could have just been quiet and then I would have had to guess whether or not you were dumb.
Oh, that's one of my favorite ones.
Or you could have started this by telling me that you actually don't know what you're talking about, and then I would have explained it to you. Or I like to really start with, it's okay to say that you don't know something.
Oh, wow.
We're all wrong sometimes.
We're
You're
all
just
wrong
it
sometimes.
right now.
You're just very wrong. You're wrong. Sorry.
But I would recommend just saying, okay, and then walking away, because they don't matter to you specifically, but also just like in the grand scheme of things, none of us really matter.
None of us really matter.
All right, took a dark turn.
Nothing even matters.
Some people need to be reminded of that. Anyway, that's the end of my answer.
Yes. Perfect.
All right, next question. It's from Anonymous Ryan. Ryan. That's
Wow.
Ryan reading Ryan. Hey guys, found out myself in an extremely unique situation. Oh man, you got a plane crash? No, and I'm not ready to tell my friends yet. I recently found out I'm pregnant. We are different types of Ryans.
I was about to say, what if this is just Ryan messaging us and he's like, how do I tell my podcast friends
guys.
that I'm pregnant?
I am pregnant. Oh my gosh.
What's his name?
Ryan. But it's so early and I don't want anyone but the father to know. The thing is well, that makes sense. The thing is, the father is my ex-boyfriend. Oh. And I have no idea how to tell him. We didn't end on bad terms. Well, yeah, clearly. Apparently not. Yes, like I would.
You left on mutual terms.
Wait, finish it. Because read this last sentence.
He's actually my best friend and my brother's boy. Whoa! Whoa!
My brother's boyfriend?
boyfriend! So my question for all of you is, how do you want to be told you're going to be a dad? First off, so many levels to this.
This is
levels.
A wild story. This is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Do you mind if I pitch this to Netflix, whoever you are?
Right, yeah, because this is... Oh my gosh.
Wow.
This is my favorite question I think we've ever received. Because here's the thing. I love how you have the questions. How would you want to be told that you're the dad? No. This is a very different, very longer question, which is...
How do I deal with all of this at once?
Okay, so first things first, do this immediately.
Yeah, immediately.
Do not wait on
don't
this.
wait,
And
don't wait.
I don't know what kind of person he is. If he's anything like me, just text me.
Right? You sounded so Jerry Seinfeld there.
No,
Jerry Seinfeld.
don't do that.
Just text me.
Just text me.
Just text me.
I'm gonna say don't do that. I don't know.
Just send me a text that says, hey, I'm pregnant and I'm pretty sure it's yours.
I want you... No. I want it to go differently. I want you to sit down with your brother and his now boyfriend, and I want you to look at your brother and go, I'm pregnant. And then I want you to casually shift just a little to the left and just go, good news, you're gonna be a nephew dad.
No.
You're
What
gonna
you
be a...
What you do is you stare at your brother and you say, you're gonna be a stepdad. And then you turn to your ex-boyfriend and say, that's all you gotta say.
But you're going to have to raise it. Like, oh my gosh. Also, we're keeping it all genetically in here.
Whatever you do it
Quick.
yesterday.
Yes.
And also, go to Planned Parenthood. They have a lot of options.
Yes.
One of them is abortion, but they have other options too.
My mind
like,
immediately went to that, and I was like,
Oh, I know.
was
you
like-
know it did.
It's like, did Ben just
There's a
immediately
lot-
say, "Go get an abortion"?
I mean, I was like,
Yeah,
I mean,
you
but
should.
if
Kids are
that's
awful.
what you
Oh my
want
God.
to do, if
But
that's
if you-
what you feel like doing,
you can make your own choice. You don't have to listen to Ben. Just
You absolutely should never listen to anything I say straight up.
but do go to Planned Parenthood because it does help you, and definitely tell your ex-boyfriend because
tell
he
the
needs to know.
ex-boyfriend first, and I bet he's gonna be like, maybe we should do the thing where we don't have it.
Oh,
And
Maybe,
then
you never know.
both
This-
are like, great, same page.
yeah.
Well, here's the thing: we don't know if she is like against having this baby or not right now. You know what I mean?
I mean,
like,
she said that she's going to have it.
Pretty much.
yeah. Well, in that case, then yeah, and that is
But-
pro.
Pretty
Maybe
much.
it's because nobody has been like, there's another option.
Anyone
That's,
but
that's such a I don't know. That's a you don't make it to 2021 and think there's no other option. Like no one's.
Well, there's a lot of things to think about. How old are they? Where
are
do they
you
live?
living?
Like, what type of area do they live
Yeah.
in? If they were raised in like a very rural part of like Indiana, then yeah, that other option has literally never been given to them.
yes, yeah. Very
No,
true.
but you know it exists. It's one of those things where I can't be the only person that's
Yeah,
ever
but
thought
if you've
that like
been raised that way, then that's not a thing you think about.
that's so weird to me because I would heavily disagree with that because even raised like pretty like Christian and things like that and raised around those type of things where there are options and there are not, I always still was able to educate myself and know that we have access to the internet. You know what I mean? Like this is not.
Yeah, but that's you educating yourself as a person who wanted to be educated on that.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And the
yeah.
fact that they listen to our podcast probably means they're around the same boat as you.
That's what I'm assuming is that people can educate themselves now. So I would assume this person does know that they do have options, and I would hope so. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, I don't think that.
We love
Yeah.
you, whoever you are, Anonymous.
Yeah,
And
tell
we're
them
here to support you.
immediately.
Let us know how it goes, though.
From one Ryan to another, keep us posted because and we hope the best. Yeah, for whatever you're looking for.
Send us the full deets of the story, though, because I am curious.
Man, send
love
Netflix
that.
the full
I
deets of
would.
the story.
We should
Yeah.
do a story time where it's just their story. That would be fantastic. Anyway, on to the next question.
I want
Addison
that
B
story time.
says, "Hey guys, I absolutely love the podcast and all three of your profiles on TikTok. I'm also a huge Harry Potter fan. I was wondering who's your favorite character and why?"
I've only seen the first two movies.
I love
read the first
Dumbledore, not because he's gay. It's because he's
Hot.
hot.
Yeah.
No, I've always loved Dumbledore's energy. Like whether it's on the film
Okay.
or in the books, I've always enjoyed or felt like he was someone that you could like potentially come out to. Like that's the kind of energy he always had. Was just like you can talk to him about anything and he will listen and he will like understand. So I would say that or Professor McGonagall. They are like the kid characters, but I genuinely like the professors are just fantastic. I think a couple of them at least.
I like Ron.
Ron!
Ron.
Ron, no!
Run now!
No!
You can't. No, run! You can't.
I am going to say Ginny Weasley.
Ooh, why?
Because in the book, Ginny's kind of a badass.
She is. She do be slaying.
Yeah, she just like whatever man she wants, whenever she wants him. You. And then her parents are like, Ginny, don't go fight in the war. And Ginny's like, but I want to murder people,
But
Mom."
I'm gonna do it anyway, and I don't care
Yeah.
what you say.
And then, like, when she got the chance, she's just like, I'm also going to play Quidditch, and I'm going to play it very well.
you
She
know
was just
all
really
your
good
other
at
failures.
everything she did.
You know all the other failures of sons you've had. Get ready for the daughter. Like that was what it felt.
Yeah, and then Ginny Weasley was just like, oh, the chosen one? I'm going to choose that one, too. Come over here, Harry.
Yeah. It was me now, Chief. Like,
The allure.
Oh. that's a
Yeah,
pro pull.
Ginny's a badass.
She's great.
So,
Anyway,
Okay, next. Did you guys pick? What? You right.
when
you
it's
said, okay.
your one.
Jesse K says, "Hey, all, just finished episode 20. I'm so relieved to know I wasn't the only one who never got into Vine. What's another trend you just completely never got into, either because you didn't care or because you didn't even realize it was a thing?
drugs. No.
It's not too late. It's never too late."
Did you guys have like Dare? Did you guys have like Dare conferences and stuff like that all the time? Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
No.
We had a lot of them in high school. In terms of a trend, I don't know.
That you just never got. I've never done any trend ever. And I'd say most of them are just because I didn't realize that they were a trend until much later.
That's fair.
I think there's like a picture of me planking. But it was absolutely in jest. Like, it was like fully ironic.
Yeah. I feel like I have followed, like, as soon as I knew TikTok was a thing, I was like one of the first to, like, when TikTok became TikTok, it changed from Musical.ly to TikTok, and they had all those like weird ads going. I was like, yeah, I'll download this. I feel like I follow trends pretty easily. Like, I feel like, and it comes back again, we've said it before, if either of you started a cult, I'd probably join it. I'd probably just be like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll believe anything for a few minutes or a few months at least.
Or 25 years. Let's do that.
Or 25 years, yeah. So, yeah.
Dan's like, I gotta give it a good try, you know? How can I say I don't like it if I don't try it for 25 years?
But yeah, I can't really think of any like crazy trends, to be honest with you. I'm a follower. What can I say?
I don't really do the trend thing. I just don't understand it. For me, I'm just always kind of, I'm like doing my own thing. I
didn't Dougie. There we go.
You didn't Dougie. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Perfect.
Or I didn't do the stanky leg.
I'm just sure that I'm going to do whatever trend it is wrong, so I just don't do it. Yeah.
Cool. Anyway.
We've got another question, but from Absolutely Not.
Yeah.
Good evening, GDFM podcast. We have a quick challenge for you, but it's a little dark. Thanks, Ryan. Wait, what? Here we go.
Once we finish listening, stand up right now.
I can't.
Show us you're wearing pants.
I'm not. Once we finished listening to episode 18, German Serial Killers in 1919, there were mixed reviews. For some of us, the podcast was an entertaining trip through some wild true crime. Thank you. Love you people. For others, it was difficult to make it through. Ah, man. I'm just getting warmed up.
Imagine being on the podcast.
Right? Yeah. You'd be happy to know that we all made it through to the other side with minimal mental trauma, but it did make us wonder, if your fellow podcasters were serial killers, what do you think their modus operandi would be? What would be their fatal flaw that leads to their downfall or capture? Finally, what would they say before Carl pulls the lever? You know, it's got to be Carl. Bonus points if you can give them a sinister nickname, like the Salt Lake Vampire, for example. Good luck.
I hate
Thanks,
that.
absolutely.
Okay.
Wait.
Don't answer it yet. Don't answer it yet. As always, we have to do this way more detailed than we should.
Okay.
So keep it. This is gonna be next week. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna pick. So I'm either gonna do Ryan or Dan, or do we just do like?
I'd like to do both.
Pick the other two?
Each do the other two.
I'm down for both.
Okay, so we have to. Who do you like? What do you think their serial killer name would be? How do you think they would kill people? And then what do you think their last words would be? On top of that, I think just the more details of their crime would, like, how many do you think they could get through? Who do you think they would do, like, specifically? Because everyone has, like, a trigger. Like, everyone has a who do you think those people would be?
Who's their target demographic, if you will?
What's the one thing that makes makes all of the people connected? So the more details you give on your podcast serial killer mate,
the better.
The better.
The better. Yes, I love it.
Sweet.
I'm absolutely terrified to see what you guys think I would do to other people.
Ooh.
I've got it.
This is going to be a creepy episode, but
I didn't even have to take time for Ben. I was
like, Ben came to my mind immediately. I was like, okay, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Come on. If you guys say alligators, you lose points.
Oh, no. I had nothing to do with alligators. I mean, now it might, but let's talk about it. Yeah. Oh, man, I got a lot.
Yeah, as soon as Ryan met me, he was like, I have to start planning.
I've had this one planned for a while. Yeah, like this.
I'm not that bad.
No, you're right. I imagine you'd be very good at this.
Awesome.
Well, I was trying to do the second best at it.
Awesome. Next question is from Cassidy G. If you could win a gold medal in any Olympic event, what would it be and why?
The biathlon.
Hurling.
Or javelin.
Hurling or shooting? Multi-shot pistol.
I'm gonna say
It's just 22 air gun. That's just fun.
skateboarding. I would love to do that.
Okay.
I would
All
love
right.
to.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
I mean, it's a new one, right? What was the new event that they added? They added breakdancing.
the British.
The next one is breakdancing. So I'd do breakdancing in the next Olympics.
you can actually do well.
actually breakdance. So yeah, I'd win that.
That would be so cool.
That'd be
I
very
could do
fun.
well in half of biathlon.
Yeah.
You actually probably could, Ben, with all the like military training and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm a good shot. I just have no idea how to ski.
That's all it would take. Is just, there goes Ben. He learned how to ski.
And
The
you do it
best
well.
biathlon athlete the world has ever seen.
Curling would just be
He
so much
really
fun.
advances at the shooting part of this, and he seems a little bit scared on the skis.
Yeah. Sorry, my mom just left. So
Tell her I said hi.
she
Or
ju-
bye.
like, she's gone. But I'll tell her.
Just yell for me. Have fun. Don't die.
She literally like mouthed to me just now. She was like, "You are talking too loud. Keep it down." Oh, fun. The benefits of living in a senior living facility. Oh, fun.
At least you get the discounts.
Yep.
All right, the last question of the day. Hey guys, love the podcast, but I have a question for each of you. Dan, who do you think would win in a fight between Ryan and Ben, submissions only?
Oh, this is such a hard one. Ben is offended. Ben's like, you know I win. You know I win.
Ryan's got the reach
I got
for
reach.
sure.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say there's arguments made
But
for
it's
both.
submissions only, so it's not punching.
Well,
Yeah, I'm not-
technically,
I'm not-
all Ryan would have to do was just like use all of his like limbs and like bend in different ways to
I love
entangle you. He's like a python, you know. He just
Yep, but the advantage that he has of reach goes away as soon as I get in close. Like, reach doesn't really help in
I also
grappling.
feel like Ben would be the type of person to bite during a fight. So
Okay.
Absolutely.
no, for no particular reason. For no particular reason. I just feel like if Ryan got in close, you could just do some damage. Just like
But
Wrestle
okay,
him to
we
the
have
ground,
regular
wrestle him to the
rules.
ground with
I'm
all
not
of
gonna
your-
bite him.
No. He's gonna bite me anyway.
Okay. All right. To the victor go the bite marks.
You're right.
no, but I think I mean I think it's just it needs to be said. The logical answer is definitely Ben because he's been in the army. And
I think that's the
why
illogical
else would-
answer, but the one that people will accept.
No, I think that especially for like submissions only and things like that, and being in so close, like I'm not a grappler. I don't like fighting that way. That is not my style to fight. I don't like it. If I want to hit people from a distance and then
I
just
punch
keep moving.
like this.
Okay, I don't punch like that. I'd like to point that out
punch
immediately.
like
Like
those
the
weird
kangaroo
robots.
pen.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
brother teases me.
I'll roll with you, Ryan, when I get back from my trips.
All right, yeah. We'll come back from trips, then be like, we'll just roll around.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant when I said roll. Absolutely. We were gonna hug and roll down a hill or something.
It's gonna be beautiful.
Well, we will be in Minnesota, and I
disgusting.
feel
It's
like
good.
Morris, Minnesota has a few places where we can test this theory, but we'll just see.
We could. It could happen.
It could have.
all right.
Yeah.
Ryan, if you were given a chance to play Spider-Man, would you rather be an animated Spider-Man or live action?
Live action for sure. It'd be
The
fun.
wires. It'd be so fun to do stunts.
It'd be
and
so
stuff.
much fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely live action.
Would you do your own stunts?
I'd attempt to until we realized that I couldn't. I would do some of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Ben, if given the choice, would you rather be able to control gators or make an untangled gator appear anywhere once per day, limited to 4 hours of existence after appearing? Do you think he meant intangible?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe
I think it's
intangible.
like you can spawn a ghost gator. You know, like a totally normal.
Okay, well then, yeah, clearly I would like to control gators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you want an intangible one? You want
that I
ones
can
that
spawn
can do
for
damage.
4 hours.
You can damage. You want some damage.
Yeah.
Done.
I want weapons. And so, controlling alligators. But that's it. That's all.
That's
that was
all.
the last question.
That is the final
we made it
question.
through.
Yeah.
We're done. We're finished.
Yeah. No more questions. All right. That is
Unless
it.
you
That
have
is
them.
all. Thank you so much for tuning in to another week of The Good, The Dan, The Florida Man. If you liked something you heard this week, then be sure to tune in next week because we have a lot more fun coming your way. Ryan, if they want to find you outside the podcast, where can they go?
YouthPastorRyan.com.
Dan?
DanBanBam on all social media except for Snapchat, which is Dan_YOLO_Love. Ben.
I love it so
And
much.
you can find all of my stuff at benbrainard.com. It's spelled Ben Brain A-R-D. If you can't figure that out, try using yours. You can find all of the podcast links at GDFMpodcast.com. And you can email the podcast at podcast@GDFMpodcast.com. We like you. We love you. We mean it a whole lot. Probably. Maybe. We'll see you next week.
Bye!